Hello students, today we are going to start about a new topic, that is your circular flow of income and expenditure from your chapter 1, from the unit 1 of macroeconomics paper, macroeconomics part. Let me write the question. Circular flow of income and expenditure. Very important question, very interesting question, one of my favorite question. I hope you will also enjoy the question actually. Circular flow of income and expenditure. The name itself indicates circular flow. Circular means it's a continuous flow. Continuous flow between national income and national expenditure is the meaning of your circular flow of income and expenditure. Very interesting point, you should understand that one person's expenditure is equal to other's income, and others' income might be also in course of time will lead to expenditure actually. So this is the rationality behind the circular flow of income expenditure, that you should understand that national expenditure and national income must be equal to each other. First point you should understand, national income must be equal to national expenditure. So you have some idea about national income, you don't have any idea about national expenditure, you don't have any idea about national product. Let me tell you that first of all you should understand that what is the meaning of national income. National income you studied about school levels. Now you have to analyze the thing in detail. National income refers to the value of final goods and services produced in a country in a financial year. That you have studied in your 9th or 10th standard. Now we are going to study something more about national income. National income has got three interpretations. It means we can calculate, it means we can represent, it means we can estimate national income through three parameters. One is your income level, one is your expenditure, one is your output level. So national income can be measured through income method. National income can be measured through expenditure. Why we are telling that? How can we measure? Because one person's income must be equal to the expenditure. What we are getting income? Why we are getting income? Why we are getting income? Because the sole purpose of getting income is equal to the expenditure. So national income must be equal to national expenditure, and national expenditure must be equal to national output, that is your national product. So we can say national income has three interpretations. One is your national income, another is your national expenditure, one is your national product or national output. So from there we derived the concept of circular flow of income and expenditure. In 11th class we have studied about microeconomics. In 11th class you have talked about your consumers and producers. So the interesting relation continues here, the interesting chemistry of consumers and producers, that now we are going to study under circular flow. And in macroeconomics the name itself changes. The consumer of 11th class, now it is particularly known as your household sector, and the producer of 11th class, now it is particularly known as about your farm sector. So we are going to study about the relationship between household and farm sector and the circular flow of income and expenditure. Let me tell you that the flow between income and expenditure is a never-ending process. The flow between national income and national expenditure is a never-ending process. And you should remember that national income must be equal to national expenditure. What we are getting income? We are getting income in the form of different things actually. For example, you have studied about factors of production in 11th class. Land gets the rent, the payment for land, the income of land is your rent, the income of labor is your wage, the income of capital is your interest, the income of organization is your profit. Then also you are getting some income in the form of mixed income. Then also you are getting income some in other forms. So when you all total combine together, then you are getting your national income. National income, we are getting income for the purpose of expenditure. Remember one thing, we are getting income for the purpose of expenditure. That is why I am telling national income must be equal to national expenditure, and the flow between income and expenditure. You just remember the flow, the chain, the circular flow is a never-ending process. The circular flow between income and expenditure is the subject matter of our discussion. So you should understand that circular flow of income and expenditure have 4 models actually. For the timing, we will be focusing about the discussion about your 2-sector model. The 2-sector circular flow between income and expenditure have two agents in the form of one will be your household and another will be your farm. So we are going to discuss about circular flow of income and expenditure by two sector model. We have also three sector model with government introduction. We have also four sector model with foreign trade, but for the time being we are going to discuss about the circular flow of income and expenditure with the help of two sector model. When you talk about circular flow of income and expenditure two sector model, let me write about that. In the left side I will write about household. In the right side I will write about your farm. Let me go through that. One will be your household, one will be your farm. Let me repeat that. Household is known in your consumer sector, what you studied in your 11th class. Your farm is not known in your producing sector, what you discussed in the 11th class. Now we are going to discuss about the flow between the household and farm, how they interact each other, how they behave in each other, how they mutually interdepend. This is nothing but simply, this is the interdependence of household and farm sector. You can say that. Circular flow of income and expenditure is nothing but, it is the entire discussion of interdependence. How household sector depends on farm sector and how farm sector depends on household sector, and in between how income and expenditure are coming as playing an important role. That we are going to discuss. You understand? You will discuss how household sector depends on farm sector for their survival, and how farm sector depends on household for their production purposes. This interaction, this mutual dependence is nothing but it is a subject matter of the circular flow of income and expenditure. And in between their interdependence, in between their linking, in between their interaction, there you will find income, there you will find expenditure. And this is the entire subject matter of income and circular flow of income and expenditure. And one more point you should remember, that this process is a never ending process. This process, there is no full stop. There is no full stop to the process, to the flow of income and expenditure. So you should remember, if there is a full stop, if there is an end to the process of circular flow and income and expenditure, it means it's a break, it means it's a stop of all economic activities. So we can't live without economic activities. If we tell that there is an end, there is a full stop to circular flow of income and expenditure, it means there is a full stop to our economic activities. So you understood how we will study household sector depends on farm sector, how farm sector depends on the household sector. So let me first start with, remember my important point, to begin with, household sector will supply factor services. Household sector, it is the starting. If you want to go, you are going to study the relation, then who will start the relation part? It is the household, it is the you people, it is the consumer group who are going to supply factor services to the farm sector. Factor services in the form of land, factor services in the form of labor, factor services in the form of capital, factor services in the form of organization. I hope you understand all the things. Land, labor, capital, organization. Four basic factors, four factors of production. That is your land, labor, capital, organization. So first, it is the first term of household sector. It is the first responsibility of the household sector to supply factor services. You can write factor services, or you can write in detail that household sector first of all will supply what? Land, labor, capital and organization, because the owners of the services belong to the household sector. Remember one thing, land belongs to household sector, labor belongs to household sector, capital belongs to household sector, organization belongs to household sector. So it is the responsibility to start the circular flow with that household sector first of all will supply factor services to the farm sector. Now we know that farm sector is depending on household sector for what? The responsibility of farm sector lies in the activity of production. You know that farm producer is having the responsibility of production and household is having the responsibility of consumption. So you should understand the basic things, I think. Household sector is responsible for the activity of consumption and the farm sector is responsible for the activity of the production. So to carry out the production process, for the smooth functioning of the production process, now farm sector depends on household sector, and household sector in return, household sector now as the starting point at the beginning of the process, circular flow supplies factored services to the farm sector. Now, farm sector, what will farm sector will do? Farm sector, after getting factored services, actually, you know that all are the important factors of production. Farm sector, after receiving all the factors of production, it will entirely undertake the activity of production. It will produce different goods and services. So, farm sector now, after receiving the factor services, it will produce goods and services and will supply to your household sector. Understood? Farm sector, after taking the factor services, will produce goods and services. Goods and services and will supply to household sector. You understood? Fast flow factor services, and fast flow farm will produce goods and services to the household sector. You should remember that in the interaction itself, I do not introduce over here money factor actually. Very important point for you to understand that. In between the flows actually, there is no introduction of money over here. So what will happen actually? What I want to tell you that without money, how a flow can continue? Without money, how transaction will take place? Without money, how they will interact each other? Without money, nothing, nobody, no organization can interact with each other. So, if you want to interact really, if you want the interaction will be much more fruitful, much more practical, then you have to come with a monetary picture that will start over here. So, we have already started the discussion that household sector has supplied different factors to farm sector. We have not till now we have not told that you know that land gets its share rent, labor should get its share as wage, capital should get its share as interest, organization should get its as a share as profit. So, household sector is now waiting for the payment from the farm sector in return of the factor services. Still now farm sector is not given. So, now let us assume that farm sector now in its obligation, farm sector in response to getting factor services in its obligation, now farm sector gives the factor payments. You understood? Household sector supplies factor services, farm sector now gives a factor payment. Very interesting relationship between the household and farm sector. Household sector supplies factor services like land, labor, capital and organization to the farm sector, and after producing farm, now farm has its obligation. In the obligation in the sense, actually farm should give the payment for the household sector because land is liable to get its payment, labor is liable to get its payment, capital is liable to get its payment, and organization is also liable to get its payment. And what are the payments? Actually, I have written in brief that factor payments, if we analyze factor payments, then we will discuss that land, the payment for land is known as your rent in the form of rent. Labor will get its share in the form of wage. Capital will get its share in the form of interest. Organization will get its share in the share of profit. Understood? So, now the farm sector now pay as a factor payment in the form of rent, wage, interest and profit in the form of money. You just understand the important point that the factor payment made by the farm is in monetary form. And the factor payments farm pays to the factors in the form of rent, wage, interest and profit. Now household sector is having some income. You just understand. So the expenditure made by the farm is going to make expenditure. The expenditure made by the farm now become the income of the household. The expenditure made by the farm is the income of the household. Remember the topic, that is the circular flow of income and expenditure. Now expenditure of one becomes the income of the other persons. You just remember, now here the income will not stop. If household sector gets income, you should mind that here income will not be stable, here income will not stop. Again income will be converted into expenditure. After receiving the income from the farm sector in the form of rent, wage, interest and profit, household sector has to make expenditure. We can say expenditure. Let us write that. Expenditure on goods and services. Understand? So the income moved, the income received by household sector is now being spent on the goods and services. Is now being spent on the goods and services. I told you that farm sector after producing goods and services now supplies to household sector. So household sector now after receiving the income will have to make payment to the farm sector in the form of expenditure on goods and services. So income of household goes to farm in the form of expenditure, and the expenditure of the farm again come to the household sector in the form of income. You have to understand the basic point over here. The expenditure of the household sector now goes to the farm as income, and the income of the farm sector goes to the household in the form of rent, wage, interest and payment. And this interaction, this chain of flow, this chain of continuous flow, it is known as your circular flow of income and expenditure. That is going to be a never ending process. There is no full stop to this flow actually. This will be a flow actually. This will be a flow in course of time, in course of day, in course of year, in course of a decade, we can say actually. Till the time economic activities are there, the flow will continue. The flow, when there is full stop to the flow, when the flow ends means our life also ends. You should understand. So I hope my students really understand the topic of circular flow and income. Be practical. I am talking about the circular flow of two sector model. For your timing, as per syllabus, I told you about the circular flow of income and expenditure. Till we have circular flow of three sector model, that starting with the introduction of government, that is a closed economy. We are discussing about circular flow of income and expenditure of two sector model. Let me write that. Two sector model. And the circular flow of income and expenditure of two sector model is known as your closed economy. Two sector model is known as your closed economy. We have circular flow of income and expenditure in three sector model. That will be your closed economy. But when you introduce foreign trade in circular flow, that is the circular flow of 3-4 sector model with open economy. Let me tell you some discussion about here. One is a closed economy, one is open economy. What is the meaning of closed economy and open economy? Closed economy means when you have your trade relation within the country, when you have your transaction within your country, that is known as your closed economy. When you have trade relation with other countries, that is known as your open economy. In that sense, you enter foreign trade. In that sense, you enter foreign global trade. That is known as your open economy. When you transact yourself, when you do business yourself within the country, it is known as your closed economy. So household is within your country, farm is within your country, government is also within your country. We have not put up here because when you study about three sector model, then government will come. But when you study about foreign trade, then that is the economy of not closed economy, that is the economy of open economy. Understood? So this is all about the discussion about your circular flow of income and expenditure. Here we will sum up that in circular flow of income and expenditure two sector model, there will be two agents. One will be your household, one will be your farm. Initially, the activity will begin. Initially, the activity will start from the household sector. As household sector will supply land, labor, capital and organization as the factor service to whom? To farm sector. Now, as you know that, you have already studied the responsibility of farm, the responsibility of producer lies in the task of production. Farm has the responsibility of producing. So, after receiving the factors, now farm will produce. What will the farm will produce? Farm will produce goods and service to supply to the household sector. But you should understand that household sector till now doesn't get the factor payments. So now it becomes the responsibility of the farm to pay the factor payments in the form of, in return of the factor services, farm sector pays to the household in the form of rent, wage, interest and profits. So now the income here, when you talk about the factor payment, here it comes the money flow, here comes to the monetary flow, you understand. In between, in the entire process of circular flow, you will see two flow. One will be your real flow and one will be your monetary flow. So let us continue the process. Farm sector now makes payments to the household sector. So we can say the expenditure made by the farm. When farm sector makes payment, definitely it is the expenditure by the farm. So the expenditure of the farm now received by the household sector as income. The expenditure of farm is equal to the income received by the household sector. Now after receiving the income, household sector what will do? Household sector will now make expenditure on goods and services. It is also a monetary payment. Remember one thing. It is also a monetary flow, because expenditure will be nothing but expenditure will be definitely in the form of money only. Expenditure will be nothing but expenditure will be in the form of money. For example, if a household sector receives a factor payment equal to 10,000 rupees, then it has to make expenditure of equal to rupees 10,000. Understood? This is the meaning of equality between flow of income and expenditure. There should not be any type of disturbance. Remember one thing. There should not be any type of disturbance in the circular flow of income and expenditure. If household sector receives income equal to 10,000 rupees, then household sector is liable to make expenditure equal to rupees 10,000. So that the flow will be circular, so that the flow will be stable, so that the flow will not be disturbing. Understood? So this is the entire process of circular flow of income and expenditure. So after receiving the payment, then household sector now is ready to make payment for what? For the goods and services received from the farm sector. I told you. In the meantime, I told you that after receiving the factor services, farm will produce and farm will supply goods and services to the household sector. So after getting the goods and services, household sector is liable to make payment, and household sector will now make payment in the form of expenditure on goods and services to the farm sector. So the expenditure that has already gone from farm sector now again come to the farm as income. The expenditure made by the farm sector again reversely come to the farm as income, and this is nothing but the circular flow of income and expenditure. So we have noted here some conclusion that in two sector model we have two agents, that is one is your household, one is your farm. In two sector model there will be two flows. One will be real flow, one will be your monetary flow. Real flow means what? Flow without the transaction of money, flow without the involvement of money. For example, factor service flow, it is your real flow. For example, goods or service flow, goods and services flow, it is a real flow, because this flow is without money. This flow is also without money. So the flow of factor services and the flow of goods services, the flow of factor services from household to farm sector, the flow of goods and services from farm to household sector is an example of a real flow. I told you, real flow constitute the flow of factor services and flow of goods. Let me write it. Flow of factor services and flow of goods and services. So these two flows constitute the main part of the real flow. And if you talk about monetary flow, factor payments, because it involves monetary transactions, it involves the monetary payments, that is why it is called your monetary flow. And the expenditure on goods and services by the household sector toward the farm sector. So we can write that monetary flow constitutes the factor payments and expenditure on goods and services. So you should understand that in between the circular flow that we told that factor payments and expenditure on goods and services, these two flows become the main point of discussion of the circular flow. This is the entire discussion of circular flow of income and expenditure. I hope you understood everything, each and every point. I also told you that there will be two agents at your household and your farm. I have purely analyzed, and you should understand that this is nothing but this is the interdependence mutual dependence between household and farm sector. You should understand. Household depends on farm sector depends on the household sector. In between the dependence, there will be two flows. One will be a real flow, one will be a money flow. And more interestingly, more importantly, you should understand the flow is a never-ending process. The flow is a never-breaking process actually. The flow is a continuous and the flow is a circular. That is why it is called the circular flow of income and expenditure. In the meantime, you should understand that national income must be equal to national expenditure, because here we have got the national income and here we got the national expenditure, and that two sides must be equal. National income must be equal to national expenditure. If at any point of time national income is not equal to national expenditure, we can tell that there is disturbance in the circular flow. Understood? If at any point of time national income is not equal to national expenditure, we can tell that there is disturbance in circular flow. So that will lead to another course of discussion actually. So I hope you understand about the simple, actually I told you about two sector model. This circular flow, in your course we have two sector model circular flow. Two sector model circular flow is known as your simple circular flow. Simple circular flow. Understood? I hope you understood each and every concept, because I have reminded about your 11th class discussion. From 11th class discussion, so we have told about, I told about consumers. It is the because you will be confused. Your consumers is nothing but we have given the role of household. When you talk about macroeconomics, the consumers is coming over here, household. When you talk about the farm is being played by the producers. So producers from your microeconomics, now it is coming as your farm sector. Don't be confused. Household and farm, the entire dependence between them and the process, and the process will be a never-ending one. That is the subject matter of circular flow of income and expenditure. And in between, we have seen very important flows over there. A real flow in the sense the factor services and goods and services flow is the main thing of real flow, and the factor payments and the expenditure and goods and services is the example of your monetary flow. I hope you understand, you enjoy the concept, the topic of circular flow of income and expenditure, which is an important part, of your unit 1. That unit 1 is your national income. Because to understand the concept of national income, you should understand the circular flow of income and expenditure. That is going to be a very important question for your final examination. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time and patience. Thank you.